Okay, and I've highlighted the main things. So we're coming up October, November. There's some squares to Mars from Mars. I don't count those big things. But Saturn conjunction Jupiter, December 9th. And Pluto and Jupiter opposes her Mars. So there's the anger of Jupiter opposing Mars, but there's a Saturn adding restraint or decisions, commitment to the Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to understand the Saturn, but there's also going to be almost some explosive or volatile scenario with the Jupiter to Mars. There's a struggle going on. This is not the most extreme things. The Jupiter and Saturn are dealable, but it's still there. Then by the 19th, Pluto conjuncts the Saturn. That's more extreme, but it's still around discipline, around commitment, around doing things. We have to finish it, we have to take care of this. So she's on a strong mode to complete the legal affairs, get everything done so it's actually done. Push, and the Pluto's situations are forcing that. That's the Pluto. But there might be some fear or block or confrontation yet to do with the husband. By January, right after the New Year's, after the holidays, Saturn conjuncts her Saturn. She's got her Saturn return, and that's at 29. It's the end of the early, growing up and you're starting that. The second one is a special one. It's really the beginning of your spiritual path. You know, if someone gets to their Saturn return and they have a sense of God or sense of spirit, it gives them inner spiritual energy that even if they have a weak body, it will give them an extra 20, 30 years. But if someone's got an atheistic attitude or is not living well or is closed off to inner spirit, life becomes just a process of dying. And it's a much more difficult life. So the Saturn return is probably the beginning of commitments to the spiritual life. And the Jupiter fighting the Mars just before that, and the Saturn coming up to the Jupiter and Pluto on the Saturn is, oh my, it's like old karma, like, oh, geez, I got to change it. I can't live like that. I got to just up the ante. And then right after she does this in January, Saturn return, then Jupiter hits her ascendant by January 12th. So this is all really over this next 2 months, month and a half. Jupiter comes out and she comes out looking good. She starts seeing a new understanding. It's like special teachers. She sees a new way. Some good luck starts coming in. Not before, not during the holidays, because there's still confrontations and challenges in completing this process. So once you've got the main thing in place, you know she's got to go towards more, defining her goals, building up more personal growth, more personal depth, living in the way she wants to live. Wow, that's without a husband and without having to make the trade-offs to bring up the kids and stuff. Yeah, there's 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden, it's my chance. I got to take it, right? Then by February, after Jupiter hits her ascendant, Neptune conjunction with her Venus, and she has the chance to go on a special trip or a vision. Maybe it solves earlier, and she sees it, and it's clear, gets clear in January, and she gets open. And then the Mars by February 29th, leap year, Mars on the ascendant, and she's ready to. There could be some delays with the Mars going through this 12th house from January 31st to February, but she's ready to go. So then she's ready. Like Mars conjuncts the ascendant, then it conjuncts the Sun. Like this is March, April, February 29th, March, April 1st, and then Saturn conjuncts the Sun on April 10th. So she's gonna want to do something. Like there's really good things opening up, and she's gonna want to do some things. She's got to watch how much, because now this is the first system that she's the vision. She want to act on it, but she's got to exercise some restraint with the Saturn, because there's still disruptions that are going to happen. As soon as she makes some decision what she's going to do, she can decide what she's doing, but there's still disruptions around the home. And I think that's possibly still with the X or with other things, there's still shakeups coming there. So she may go on a trip, see something, and then start wondering, what am I going to stay here for when I got a better place? I could find a better place somewhere else or something like this. So it might mean a move or change. But certainly if you're staying put, there's still disruptions around where you are. Then Saturn goes, by May 5th, Saturn goes retrograde. It's still conjunct the Sun, it's 157. It's still within a degree, and it comes back. So really, the Saturn is conjunct the Sun from the middle of March right through to the end of June. It's still within that degree of the Sun. but it's exact on June 10th. So these are strong decision days of deciding what I want to do, where I want to go. But the shock inside of the Uranus to the midheaven, that some change of career, home, some big change of shocks are still going on there. And I do believe there's a bit of a disruptive thing going with the husband who doesn't want to go along with these things. So that could be the wild card. She gets her Jupiter return next August. That's a good thing. The Jupiter conjuncts the Sun and Saturn conjuncts the Sun in December 2020. That's even better. Good understanding, good commitment. That's good. Jupiter, Saturn conjunct once in 20 years and conjunct her Sun. There's no better time to start a big project. The Beatles were born under that. They started the band under that when they were 20, and they became most famous under that. And John Lennon died under that. So they lived on 20-year cycles. And then by February 21, Saturn hits the midheaven, squares the midheaven. So that's just perhaps pressure around the responsibilities, taking care of the place or whatever. But then Saturn's on the Mercury. So there's going to be serious decisions being made around work and on what the plans are. The Saturn to Mercury. There's still worries. I got to make a plan. I got to deal with this. So there's still a mental worry, or there's still some things to take care of. Her Saturn hits the Mercury, forcing a decision. Her Mercury square Neptune by natally. Oops, I mean, I have to take care of this too. So that stabilizes it, some of the vision. Then she makes a plan. Then Uranus squares the Mercury in May. So that's March 21 to May. So she makes a plan. Then the plans get shaken up and changed by May. Then Mars opposes her Sun in June. This is 21, and she's still not. That's her low energy. You have up 2 years. Mars opposes the Sun. Then in July, Saturn conjuncts Mercury. She makes plans again, what she's got to do. But the Saturn's going retrograde, so it's going to hit this again, but she makes the plans again. And we haven't got it for it. But what's going to happen, this is going through the loop. It's going to repeat itself again. The Saturn goes on, then the Uranus comes in and hits it. Then the Saturn comes back again. Uranus is there again. She got 3 hits of this. So even though she's deciding her goals, there could be disruptions that are changing how strong she can go ahead in the plan. So her plans can be disrupted or changed. So that being said, there's some instability here. Changes of the way she's thinking. So her fixed goals, which may not be as fixed as she thinks. So how she's thinking may make bigger changes, but with Saturn below the horizon, where she's supposed to be in school, studying, learning, adding new things. And every day, at least 2 nights a week in courses where you're adding something. Every day you're adding something new into your life and it's building up. You're not just staying where you are and having everything pulled back to the past or disrupted. You're having to keep this steady growth going on. And that's the Saturn going down there. So you're going to advise her around that. Here, there could be change of courses, change of plans. It's still in the end, the Saturn on the Sun, the Saturn to the Mercury. These are still strong suits of gaining control. It's not like all this is changing overnight in a day and it's suddenly fixed. It's still more complicated. There's more disruptions. But once she gets past that, as we saw in the 8-year graph, which is why we do the 2 years detailed to follow this, and we see all this stuff in the detail. 2022, it finally starts opening up without these other conditions. It gets free of what can cause the shocks. So if you don't set yourself up, you don't get brought down. But for however it got set up before, there's still shocks and disruptions going on here. So it's not, even though she has the Jupiter conjunct the Sun, it's a great time to start a new enterprise or to get a new sense of where you're going in life. There's still another delay. You're still doing prep work for it until you get finished the Uranus on the Mercury. Then it starts opening up. Okay. That's a fairly good run at the transits. So you don't know, you're imagining it, you're seeing it. We've got a basic plan going on. So we've got the natal chart, the character, starts trying to be more free. I want to get my own world. I don't want to have these vulnerabilities, but I had to take care of my daughter. I had to sort of trade offs with her. Now it's her turn to be the daughter herself. And even then, there's still conditions that are disrupting it for a while. But when you see where Saturn is and the way she's ready, it's just going to take, she's got to make some commitments and the work to keep studying and to adding some other things. Even though there are disruptions going on, there's still disruptions going around. She can't just waste this whole time in politics or in legal disputes. She still has to make sure she's putting pressure on to grow herself and to be learning things going through this. So some of the kept asking about progressions, coming back in to top up her progress stuff. This is a good thing for her to be doing. Okay, so now, okay, this was the progress chart. So let's just take a quick look at it for a second. This is the natal chart. Again, progressions are masked. Don't look at the aspects in the middle. But the progressions on the outside, you can see where the sun in Aquarius is. And you can see the sun's moved up 0 degrees there. It's just moving into Aries. Wow, that's changing. 30 years it's been in Pisces. During the Mars, it was in Pisces, going over to Venus, it's just going into Aries. The Mars with the action, it's time for her to do stuff. She's going to start being much more active in doing things. Maybe she's going to travel, maybe she goes places, maybe she goes off to India, maybe, who knows? But you can see that need, that restlessness, that impatience, that the sun coming up to empower the moon already has a bit of an angriness. There's a need to do something, not wait. So this disruption and the patience and the determination, it has both extremes there. On her bed in her spirit, you can see this, the sun, and it's down in the second house, solving things with money. It'll open things up. It'll go into the third house, allowing her to study and travel and learn through her last part of her life. Okay, so what I want to see, we want to see first with the printouts, we want to see the phase of the moon. We want to see what the progressed moon is, progressed phase. So the progressed new moon, this is the list to print out, and progressed new moon was May 12, 2015. That was the new beginning, 2015. Whoa, that's 4.5 years ago. So this was part of beginning to see the freedom herself and beginning to get her own world going. But the old things haven't been finished. The daughter had, I don't know if the daughter was just starting university then or something, but it was inwardly a big beginning. But even on the new moons at the beginning, you go into that new moon phase, but it's not till it gets to the crescent. We can actually see the crescent about 2.5 days after the new moon, just about another day before it turns to the actual crescent moon, the 45-degree aspect. But at about 30 degrees, 2.5 days, you can see the slim crescent. That's really the mystical beginning for Native Indians and rituals, and for Arabic rituals. They use that as a symbol, really, that this is the outer start. You see the light now and it's going to build up. So she's had the big interchange with that progressed new moon, and it hits in October 27th of 2018, it's hit the crescent moon phase, which is where she's in now until 2022. So she's in the crescent moon phase, and we know, and the new moon was in Pisces, but the crescent moon phase still in Pisces when it started. Now it's moved out of that, but got the progressed moon phase. I'm going to read that in a second. I just want to look to see her eclipses. So she's born in January, so these first two eclipses are hers. So when it was 26 Aquarius, that was the solar eclipse. And then when it hit 11:45, so 26 Aquarius, when it was opposing Uranus, it came in there, the eclipse came in there in the second house opposing Uranus. Then the progressed sun went into Pisces when it got to 11:45 degrees Pisces, not really hitting anything, but it's in the second house. Then she had the full moon. So both happen in houses of money and trust, resources and trust. So I think they were tied to being married, having bought the house, having to make repairs, and the repairs taking ages to get done, and things of this sort going on. I think they were tied up to those. I don't know, but she's had the deepest hits. Spiritually, those are deep hits. Outwardly, there are often challenges associated with them, or they can be running into a darkness associated with it. But usually, you're working with the progressions. They're really deep spiritual insights. But she's in the crescent moon phase now, and I'm going to read this.